Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. I know I've been like MIA for a while now. I've been saying this for so long that I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna be consistent with more videos and stuff. I truly do apologize. It's just that, you know, lately I've been feeling very uninspired, if I'm honest. And, you know, when I make videos, I have to feel some sort of inspiration and some sort of, you know, I have to really feel it in my heart. I've lost inspiration lately. I just definitely was in a different place last month and I'm in a way better place now. Anyway, if you haven't noticed, my hair is short. I actually have it pinned in the back. I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race. I was totally inspired by Valentina's Madonna look, so I figured I'd give it a try. On today's video, I'm going to talk about my experience working with Buzzfeed. I was featured in 4 videos with my boyfriend in them, and I'm here to tell you about my experience. Ever since I started my YouTube career, it was always a dream of mine to collaborate with such, you know, big name YouTube channels. Before I start this video, I definitely don't want anyone to think that I'm bad-mouthing Buzzfeed because that's not my intention. This is something I definitely feel I have to share with you guys. Anyway, just let me get started. So a friend of mine actually posted an ad on Facebook. So she's an agent and she's obviously worked with them before, so I figured I'd message her and find out more information, you know. It was totally random out of the blue because they did not contact me, I contacted them. So yeah, and I usually don't do that, but I thought since it's BuzzFeed, I'll totally make that exception. So in the post, she actually mentioned that they were looking for couples to go in and film a couple videos with them. I thought that was pretty cool, and I know you guys love me and Malik. So on the Facebook post, she actually included an email to basically email if you're interested in the position. The first thing I did was send them an email with a picture of me and Malik and basically a little description of us. Basically saying, hi, I'm Eden, I'm 21 years old, I'm transgender, blah, blah. You know, basically telling them interesting stuff about us. So not even 30 minutes go by and I get a call from one of the producers from Buzzfeed. Basically, he calls me and says that he saw the photo of me and Malik and he would love to work with us. He was pretty quick and to the point. He asked if we were available tomorrow to shoot with them and I said yes. And he basically didn't really tell me anything about what we were shooting. He basically just said, it's going to be a surprise. So yeah, basically he just said that we're going to shoot 2 videos and they're going to be a surprise. And I said, cool, I'll see you tomorrow. So tomorrow comes and I was super excited because this was the first time I'm working with them. And yeah, once we got there, we went to this room and this is where they shoot all the BuzzFeed videos. And there were a few guys there, a few girls, and yeah, we basically started to get mic'd and they told us that it's going to be a cool video and blah, blah, blah. So we were super hyped and super excited. So they had us sit in a surgical table, which was pretty odd, but there were like a billion cameras and they basically just started the video. He was on this side and I was on this side. And over here, there was kind of like a picture, like a big old picture like this big. Let me paint the picture out for you guys. It was basically a big production and there were about 6 different cameras all on a 360-degree angle and they were all pointing at us. So once we got mic'd, we basically started shooting and the first question she asked is, how much do you guys know about vaginas? And I looked at him, he looked at me, and I was like, I think we know enough. They said, okay, so we're going to ask Malik a question and then we're going to ask you a question, Eden, so you can confirm it. And I was like, okay. The first question was, how often does Eden get her period? I looked at him, he looked at me, poker face, like this was me. So there was like an awkward silence and, you know, I guess they assumed it was because he was trying to think of the question, but I was pinching him like so hard and he basically, I mean, he's a really smart guy and he kind of knew what was going on. So he basically said, oh, she's on the pill, so I don't really know how often she has it. And then they looked at me like I'm supposed to tell them the real answer. Like basically like he got it wrong, obviously. So Eden, tell us the real answer. I'm like, I'm on the pill, so I actually don't have it that often, maybe once every 2 months. And that's me kind of remembering from what my cousins or sisters would tell me. I literally know nothing about periods, just so you guys know. So the question actually was, how often do women get their periods? After I gave my answer, she was like, oh, well, actually the answer is blah, 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 blah. I don't remember, but blah, blah, blah. But then she continued to say that all women are different and some women have their periods this day, some women have their periods every month, every year, whatever, yada, 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 the pill, etc., etc. So at that point, we were both just like, okay. We kind of like figured what was going on. They were basically asking us questions about the vagina. So my first initial thought was basically, okay, I have a vagina. I mean, I should be able to answer this. The next question was something like, how much do tampons cost? And Malik was thinking, he obviously got it wrong. He was like $4.99, I don't know. And then it was my turn. So they basically look at Malik like, yeah, of course you got it wrong. And they're like, okay, so Eden, tell us the actual answer, because of course you must know since you're a woman and you have periods, blah, blah, blah. I mean, tell us the answer, come on. You know, looking at me like, okay, yeah, he got it wrong. So my response was like $8.99 or something. I don't fucking know, but I obviously got it wrong as well. And they were like, oh, well, that, like surprised, kind of like, oh, well, the answer is actually this. So at this point, my heart's like freaking racing. Like, you guys can only imagine how I must feel to be in my position right now. Girls and guys that obviously don't know my tea, and with my boyfriend, and I'm such an, it's just such an awkward and humiliating position to be in. You know, at that point, I started to get nervous. My voice started to crack. You know, I kind of felt ashamed and just distraught that I couldn't get the answers right. And I couldn't get them right, obviously, because I don't have periods and I can't have babies, and I'm not really a genetic woman. To be asked these questions and be put in this position was humiliating. And I had to fight back my tears as I answered the questions, because I wanted to get it over with, because I couldn't just stop, you know, and tell them what was going on, because there, like I said, there were so many people in the room, and I wasn't just about to come out to this many people. I didn't expect this. The questions started to get more deeper and deeper, and my boyfriend started to hold my hand because he could feel my frustration at me not getting them right. I felt like I was kind of being tested in a way. He could feel me just, you know, getting emotional as I was answering the questions, and I feel like people in the room were kind of confused as to why I was emotional, and I kept, you know, making excuses. I'm someone who hardly ever sweats, and I was literally drenched in sweat. I had to present as passable to not only everyone in the room, but to everyone on camera, at least at that moment. And it was so much pressure. Every time I couldn't get the answer right, I felt less and less of a woman. And I gave Malik and I a stick to basically point at the certain parts of the vagina they would ask me to. So they would ask Malik, okay, Malik, so point to the urethra or whatever the fuck, and he would get the stick and then he would point to it. And I guess the whole point to this originally was to see how stupid guys were, that they would get the answers wrong, to basically make a joke saying that guys don't know the anatomy of a vagina as well as women do. Then it was my turn to point at it, and I kid you not, I really couldn't point to you where they were asking me to point. And I kind of relied on Malik, because thank God he went first. So I really just pointed out where he pointed, because I didn't want to be humiliated any more than I already was. And as soon as I pointed, she basically said, well, the answer is actually this. And it was so frustrating, because every time he would answer, they would basically look at me with hope. Like, okay, so Eden, tell us the real answer. So tell us the answer, Eden, so we can, you know, move forward and make your boyfriend look dumb. They seriously thought that they were fucking with me. You know, I felt like it was a joke, or that they were trying to like make a cruel joke on me. I felt like they were trying to prank me, or they were just humiliating me on purpose or something, because I had told them in the email that I was transgender. And I thought since it was Buzzfeed, they would know what the fuck transgender meant. Needless to say, it was basically torture the entire time. And I think it was torture for Malik too, because I started to get self-conscious. So as soon as we finished with that first video, they had us leave the room so they could change the setup for the second video. I couldn't stop shaking and I couldn't stop crying, and I just lost it. Just being put in the spot like that was... I remember I was still might, and I don't know if they were hearing our conversation or anything. What do I do? How do I tell them? Because I have to tell them. I'm gonna look like a liar, and I'm gonna look stupid, and I don't know why I agreed to do this. As we were having this conversation, the lady that was asking the questions opens the door and says, are you guys ready? Let's go back inside. Or she saw how distraught I was, and she asked me if I'm okay. I told her that I'm transgender. I'm basically over here just crying, telling her that I'm not eligible to be in this video. I don't think I'm necessarily the right person to answer these questions because I don't have periods and I can't have children and I can't do a lot of things that normal women can do. She basically apologized and told me that she didn't know. Like, how can you not know? I wrote in the email. She basically said that that's a different department. I guess it's good in a way because if they were fucking with me, that is the most cruel, disgusting thing that anyone can basically do. So after coming out to her, she told me that we need to film a second video about the hardest thing that me and Malik as a couple have been through, and she told me to say that the hardest thing we've been through was me coming out to him. And honestly, that was nothing compared to the long distance that we had to go through. But, you know, she asked me to do it. 2 chairs facing each other, and we had to hold hands and basically talk about me being a tranny. Mind you, I was just talking about having periods and getting pregnant and doing this and that, and I'm over here telling him that I'm transgender, and that was the hardest thing we've ever been through. You can only imagine the awkwardness in the room, and I'm over here being paranoid, basically thinking everyone's going, aha, that makes sense. Originally, I asked if we could just not include my part at all, but then I thought about it as I was shooting the second video. I felt like I could basically use it as my chance to educate people on a broader audience. If I could change at least one person's perspective on women like me, then my tears were definitely worth it. To close this off, this definitely was not a video to bash BuzzFeed in any way, shape, or form. And I know this is nothing compared to what women like me face every single day, but this is something that I came across, something that I faced, and something that did have a very big impact on me. And I felt like I had to share my story. Again, guys, I apologize for being MIA for so long, and I hope that this is kind of a consolation to you guys as to why I was MIA. It was the first time I was exposed to such a large amount of people that weren't, you know, necessarily friendly. I definitely myself had to do a little bit more soul-searching. I'm basically signing up for the harsh criticism, and you know, it is what it is. The negative people will always be there, but it's a matter of not letting it get to you. Also, I noticed a lot of you guys don't get to see when I post my videos, so definitely please turn your post notifications on. What that does is basically alerts you whenever I do post a new video, which I promise will be a lot more often. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and until next time, bye guys.